The first one actually ended up coming out great, except my daughter dropped it. The second one thickened up too fast and it didn't work. And then this one, it came out great. Colors weren't as great as I thought, but I ended up swirling it the wrong way. So it worked this way, but I need to cut it this way. So I'm done. I'm just going to send in what I have. I don't think I'll win, but
Okay, so yesterday's audio was actually pretty fine-ish to, work with the microphone being this far away, so that's good. But I did notice that there was just something in my hair the entire time, and I've also never really commented on it or pointed it out, but it seems like there is always just something in my hair. And so I went ahead and just pulled my hair back, and it feels some kind of way because, I have like the two-tone thing going on, and so like one side is dark and one side is light and whatever. And that feels weird, but Shells told me that I could just pull it straight back. And so I'm going to trust Shells because she's obviously better at these things, than I am because I am a mess most of the time. So there's that. And that's just the update for, what's going on in this whole I'm trying to do new, weird, cool, maybe fun, different things with the recording of the stuff. So there you go. You know, that's all. That's not what we're talking about today. If I were to give a tutorial on what kind of cameras and microphones and systems and lighting and things to use for the filming of things, I would be laughed off the internet probably, as you could tell on your own. Like, I did not need to self-report on that. But I will be talking about the Project Soapway winner, like for sure. That's actually what's going to happen after I send you to the little intro thing. But the this is the format. I'm weird at the beginning, It's good format. And I will tell you more about today's Project Soapway winner in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things. And you are here for week 25 of year 3 and Project Soapway winner number 2 for the Splash Swirl Challenge. And today's winner is Hooked on Suds. And I really love everything that she did with all of this because she ultimately ended up submitting 4 bars for the Project Soapway Challenge. Now the one that won is the one that I'm going to, show you in this video as far as the pouring. But when I looked at the drive and saw what she had uploaded as far as footage went, she had uploaded the making and the cutting of all of the soaps. And so I thought it would be kind of fun to mix it up a little bit, and instead of showing you like really in depth with the pouring itself, maybe kind of speed that up and show you 3 or 4 cuts. I'm pretty sure we just have 3 cuts, and one of those cuts is not the ultimate winner of the It's an adventure. We're gonna have a good time. So yeah, I thought that would be really fun. So you could see all the different bars that she ultimately tried with all of this, and why the one that she did the first time was the winner. And that one actually has kind of a funny story behind it because I think it ended up getting dropped at some point. And so yeah, that is what we are doing. Let's get to Hooked on Suds' video footage, and we can talk about her business, her process, all of the things that I love so very much about her, while we watch her make and cut a whole bunch of really cool splash swirls. Sudsers, I hope you are ready for this journey because it is such a journey. And I decided to do something a little bit different with the actual format of the video, as I said, because Courtney of Hooked on Suds, she went ahead and she did 4 different batches of this. And as you saw in the very beginning, you know, little teaser thing, she had given up after the 3rd. She threw in the towel. She's like, I'm done. But in a lesson of perseverance, she went, nope, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try it one more time. And number 4 was born. Number 4 was not the winner, though. The winner was number 1. The very first one that she did that apparently her daughter dropped, which is super wild. And so I did, because she did send through all of the footage for all of the, you know, pours and cuts. I went ahead and showed the entire pour of the winning bar, just kind of sped up and stuff. And then all 4 of the bars and their cuts, or as much of the footage that I could get from their cuts. So that's what we are doing today to really celebrate, you know, the determination of Courtney, of Hooked on Suds, of just continuing to do this, because I am very, very impressed with her that she did, you know, especially since I saw this footage and that part with the audio in the very beginning when she's talking about, you know, how she swirled it the wrong way and so she needs to cut it the opposite way of the swirls. Swirls looked great, right? But in order to cut it into bars, it's wrong. And you heard the frustration in her voice, but you also saw it on her face. She was so frustrated. And I cried at that point. Actually, I cried at a couple points during all of this. But at that moment, it was just so freaking relatable. Just those moments when you're so mad at yourself and frustrated at yourself for, you know, doing something that you perceive to be wrong or, you know, whatever. And you're just ready to give up. And she didn't. And so I love that. And I wanted to sort of celebrate it, that she continued. And this particular bar, again, this is the one that ultimately won. I really loved this because it had all the activated charcoal as the base. I am always a sucker for black bars for sure. And then it had just such beautiful colors here. And she did such a great job with the actual layering of the colors. See, she's doing a great job. They're all right next to each other, and I really appreciate that. And it, you know, it's going really well. But she becomes a messy soaper very soon. And she just kind of starts, at the end of this, she's just kind of throwing the colors everywhere. And I loved that, because first up, this pour from cradle to grave was like 25 minutes long, right? So I'm like, cool, it's my kind of soaper, right? And then when I saw the end and like you're getting down to the bottom of all of your containers and you're just scraping things out, and instead of trying to lay them down very beautifully, you're just like, I just need to get this soap in the mold. It is time to go. And it gets messier and messier. Yeah, relatable. Love it. I'm a messy soaper. I am a disaster. And that was just, those were my vibes right there. But Courtney herself, she has, you know, admitted to being both a messy soaper and a disaster. And I love that too. I really enjoyed, it was like a journey. It was like a really great biopic series when it was all said and done with all of this footage, right? Just listening to it all, and she's asking me questions. And again, in case you're not familiar with the whole Project Soapway thing, whenever the soap makers are making these soaps, they have no idea whether or not they're going to win. I also had no idea that she had submitted 4 bars. I had no idea that she had made 4 bars. And I had seen absolutely none of this footage. The jury selects blind. So we have no idea who the soap makers are and, you know, what soaps belong to who. Only one person does. Well, I mean, the moderators do. And we select based on that. So I had no idea this journey that she was going on. She had no idea if this footage was ever going to, you know, hit my drive and me to hear it. But throughout the entire thing, she's also just asking me questions and stuff. And I really enjoyed that. And I loved, you know, her talking to herself and saying, okay, well, this got a little bit hot and it accelerated. I need to check that fragrance oil again, et cetera, and so forth. It was absolutely delightful. I loved everything about it. And so ultimately, I was very glad that she ended up, you know, winning so I could experience this. And, you know, and now you get to experience it too. So we're winning all around. But you know what I mean? See here with the putting down of the colors just kind of wherever at this point. and she'll just get messier and messier throughout the entire process. And again, very relatable across the board. Another relatable thing across the board for this is she was listening to her music at 11, and that music was Backstreet Boys, and she said in her footage that Backstreet is her Taylor Swift. I'm here for it. You know, I like Backstreet Boys. I like boy bands, so that's awesome. But yeah, she was jamming out to it, and I loved that because that's, you know, exactly what I do in the soap shop. But at one point, she got kind of quiet, right? And she was talking about, and so I looked over to see what was going on. And she was getting really emotional. She started talking about a family member that she had lost, and that song reminded her of the, you know, family member. And again, she's emotional. She's clearly having a moment, but she's continuing to make the soap. And I was just, I don't know, it's such a human moment. And I was, you know, there and, you know, experiencing that with her and understanding that all too well, that us as humans, we have to do that, right? Like, we have things that are going on and we're hurting and it's hard and you want to go, you know, hide in a corner, but you can't. You have, you know, big girl shit to do. So you have to go do it. And it was a very tender moment that I appreciated a whole lot. And it made me, you know, see her in a, you know, I don't know. Well, I guess a more human way, but that doesn't make sense because she's still very much human to me. I don't know how to explain it. You guys will do better with the words in the comments about that for sure. But Courtney has not been making soap for too terribly long. She has the business Hooked on Suds. She is out of Utah, and she is in a farming community. And so she does do a lot with like the tallow soaps and whatnot. This particular recipe, I do not believe has any tallow. She did give all that to me. I did not include it in the actual, you know, footage because this was not a recipe challenge. This was a design challenge, but I really appreciate knowing what the recipes are for, you know, anyone that I might want to try and all of the things, or, you know, it's just cool. Now, I love how much she swirled this. I think out of everyone, she really did think swirl it the most. This was awesome. And so I'm going to keep this in mind too, because, you know, JKB's Lunar Bees soap yesterday, I also thinking about that whole layering on top of each other, but also, you know, this is a good one too. Lots and lots of swirling because I really like the results of Courtney's. But this is what I was talking about. She did her swirly swirl thing, and then for the top, it's going to be messy top for a messy soaper, and that's beautiful, you know? Now, she did say that this got dropped by her daughter at some point, and I don't actually know the specifics around all of it because in this footage, she does finish this up and gets it into her oven. So I'm wondering if, like, maybe her kiddo came home and needed to use the oven and, like, just took it out and, you know, accidentally dropped it. But you really couldn't tell within the finished product. It didn't do anything, you know, bad to the bar. So that's definitely good news. But yeah, basically her whole splash swirl journey started out a journey, really. And that she ultimately ended up winning here with the first batch is just, I don't know, it's a cool, like, full circle moment. And we get to see the journey across the board. So she's going to put this awesome soap mold into the oven, and it's going to be C-popped and gelled. And we're going to look at this final bar as well as the other 3 attempts that she did with this. So let's go check that out. Okay, now on to the cuts, and like I said, this is the first one. This is the winner. This is the one in the thumbnail. This is the one that we selected to win. It's gorgeous. I love all the colors. I love the swirls. They're very delicate and beautiful. And this was her second. That accelerated because of the fragrance. It got very, very thick in the cut, or in the pour, and as a result, she wasn't able to swirl it very well, as we can see there. And that's unfortunate, but she decided to go ahead and try it again, and the colors were absolutely gorgeous on her third bar. Like, completely stunning. But as we saw at the beginning of the video, in the teaser, it was the swirls were running the wrong way in order to cut those into, you know, those swirls are great, but that's what you get when you cut it into a bar. And so this ended up being her final attempt. She decided, you know what, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do it again. I'm not going to give up. And this was her fourth bar, which is also gorgeous. I love this one as well. She does have lots of options at this point because of all of that, and they are for sale over on Facebook. She has those available through the Facebook, you can shop on Facebook now, which is really cool. So definitely check out her socials there. She's got some cute stuff. I saw some batharones on there, and that was like, oh, it's fun. And then I saw like a face thing with a dual, with a red side, like a red clay side and an activated charcoal side. I'm like, hey, point is I saw a lot of my recipes and, things on there. So she was definitely using the inspiration and the recipes and the stuff from the channels to help develop her line. And so that's cool. Love that for sure. But yeah, definitely go check her out and give her all of the love and the support. And I mean, for lots of reasons. One of them would obviously be she did this 4 times. She also kind of changed the rules of Project Soapway in doing so because she asked if she could submit for it. And I'm like, nobody's asked to do that. So sure, whatever. And when I had selected this bar, the moderators were like, okay, we're so glad that it was just one from Hooked on Suds because she had 4 that we gave you. And I'm like, oh, really? Wow, that's interesting. So we had to come up with some different parameters for all of that, like how those all ultimately end up getting sent to me. But it was a fun thing, and yeah, I am kind of glad that not 2 of her bars won. That would have been a little bit strange, but she changed the game. Point is, and so that means that Project Soapway winners have multiple opportunities to submit, and they can try this more than once, and so that's cool because I am all for it. If you want to really get good at a technique or, really perfect your recipe or whatever the challenge may be, yeah, keep doing it. Keep at it. Practice makes perfect and all of that. And she definitely showed that. She's going to probably be counted as one of the, leading people as far as the knowledge of what can go wrong in a splash swirl by the end of all of this, just because she kind of experienced it all. But across the board, it was a great time. I am so proud of you. Well done, Courtney. And there it is, Hooked on Suds and her awesome, epic, beautiful winning bar for the Project Soapway Splash Swirl Challenge. Now, for those of you who might not know, when I get the footage from the Sudsers, I review it, first and foremost, like audibly. And so I will just turn it on while I'm doing my work for the day and listen. And I love doing that so very much, because it gives me more insight into the Sudser and like the things that they like and that they're drawn to and all of the things, the life that is existing around them. And for this particular one, she was listening to Backstreet Boys the whole time, and that was awesome. That's such a vibe because she was listening to it at like 11, which was so cool because I also listen to music at 11, so that's relatable. But also within all of that, like she was pouring her soap, and then I heard her kind of get quiet, and then she, talked about how she had lost a family member, and the song reminded her of the family member, and she was visibly like impacted by this memory, right? And she was showing emotion, but not stopping. And so, yeah, I went back and I was like looking at the footage while this was happening or whatever, and I felt such a deep human connection to her at that moment. And it's just such a literal, visual and representation of humanity and what so many of us go through, like feeling the feels and doing the things, but having to continue working and getting through the day. And I, in that moment, was with her in that room. So, thank you for having submitted the challenge. And I am sorry, obviously, for the loss of a family member, as we all can relate. That is a terrible, terrible thing for sure. And had me all in my feels. But anyway, the point is, thank you. You are an incredible human. Sudsers, you know the drill. Go do the things. Go show Courtney. Go show Hooked on Suds all of the love. She's really amazing. I am very impressed with her soaping skills. I am very impressed with, her messy nature when it comes to soaping and her soaping skills. I'm very impressed with her as a human. And she has cool tattoos. So there are a lot of reasons to go give her a follow and support her and give her all of the Sudser love. Sudsers, thank you. It's time for me to give you my love. You're amazing. Thank you for being so. I have mostly managed to not cry through the series this time, so that's good. But tomorrow's winner is one that I will probably cry for because she's my my person, and so It's always weird when I have to talk to a camera about her, but I'll try to not do that because I know that it's just weird to just be crying all the time. But anyway, look forward to that tomorrow, question mark. I don't know. Subscribe if you want to see me cry. I don't know. Point is, Project Soapway is cool, and I'm a crier, and I am going to go. But I will see you guys all again tomorrow for another round of Project Soapway. Soapy fun. Bye. Alright, imagine not crying through any of this. This is ridiculous. Stupid Kaylee, she's definitely gonna make me cry.